Shelby? I can't hear you. Raise your hand if you got your Shelby airborne. Gary Patterson's raising his hands. That doesn't count. He gets to test drive these cars all the time. When you own it and you get it airborne, you want to land it just right. Go straight. He taught me how to go straight. That didn't sound right. Anyway, I've got 2 more payments on my Shelby, and then I can call it mine. Has anybody had a good time in their Shelby here? Yeah? Guys, it's the 50th anniversary of Shelby, and I'm just so honored to be up here. I just think that this group of people, all you guys, and this company in particular, is something special on this earth for us car guys. And the guy leading everything, a man named John Luft, I'm going to bring him up here. 12 years at Shelby. Under his leadership, John Luft is ensured our future of car-loving guys and gals. So, John, come on up here. Welcome, John Luft, the president of Shelby American.
Thank you, Alan. You know, Carroll Shelby is one of the last living legends. We're here celebrating 50 years of not only Shelby American as a company. And you know, let me remind you guys, we're still in a recession, but our lights are on. You know, we show up every day and we build great supercars. And these cars have the name Shelby, and these cars have the name Ford. And we're proud of that. And we're here to celebrate that 50 years of Shelby. But it's 50 years of a man, a company, and a car. 50 years ago, Carroll Shelby pulled the silk back on his Shelby Cobra. And that car changed the face of automotive performance. The Cobra was introduced at the New York Auto Show. The entire public could not believe that this wily Texan somehow talked Ford Motor Company into providing them with their new 260 and a company in England providing the chassis and body. The rest of it is history. Carroll went on to enjoy a wonderful relationship with Ford Motor Company, and it was just the beginning of a wonderful marriage in automotive heaven. Carroll Shelby had 2 ventures during a period of time where Ford Motor Company and Carroll were not collaborating on vehicles. But probably one of the happiest moments in his adult life was the day that Ford and Carroll Shelby came back together. When that agreement was inked, Carroll looked at me and he said, "John, I'm back home. I'm back home." And that started a series of collaborations and product development that launched the new era of Carroll Shelby. Everything from the GTH to the Shelby GT. Went on to provide a wonderful platform for a Super Snake. The platform was a Shelby GT500. But I got to tell you, it couldn't happen without each and every individual. Behind a great company is the support of great people. And I can tell you, those guys right there. Gary Davis. Gary wakes up every single day, walking around the shop or rolling around in his golf cart, cussing the paint guys, tuning 800-plus horsepower vehicles, making sure that the production floor is humming like a fine-tuned machine. Couldn't do it without Gary. Gary Patterson. Gary Patterson. Now, Gary has obviously been known as the director of fun, and he hates it because we make him drive a desk. He'd rather go Mach 1 with his hair on fire in a Shelby. You know, I've always thought that I've never met anybody that can outwork me. Well, I met the guy, and his name's Gary Patterson. And then we got Roger Sorrell. You gotta love Roger, you know. Roger's the only guy I know that when our sales guys go, "Well, I don't know if I can get this guy to buy," Roger goes, "I got this." He goes, "I got this." Next thing we know, we've got a deposit check. Sales is always the front end, is always the face of Shelby, and it's that ability that makes people feel good about owning their new Shelby. And then we have Keith Belair. Probably between Keith and Roger, those are 2 jobs that got to be the most difficult. You know, Gary and I often laugh, and Gary Davis will sit there and we'll say, you know, Gary goes, well, I'm building the cars, you know, and I got to build 10 cars a week. And, you know, we go, yeah, but how would you like to pay the bills? What Keith does in managing the fiscal balance of our business, though Keith is behind the scenes, Keith, I'm very thankful you're on our team. Couldn't do it without you. But I've got to show you two more faces. Tracy is the new president of licensing. Tracy's very capable, is driving the brand through licensing, driving the brand through brand extension, trying to get people to push those little Hot Wheels cars down the track, play that video game, want to have a Shelby when they grow up. Tracy does a wonderful job. And then there's Jenny. Jenny is our director of the Carroll Shelby Foundation, and the foundation is truly the keeper of the legacy. Carroll formed that foundation to accomplish really two major objectives. The first is to help children with debilitating diseases, transplants, help hospitals and doctors assist and provide them with equipment that can accomplish that. But recently, the foundation has expanded its charter to now assist children through their educational years. The foundation has taken an active role in education and supporting the Carroll Shelby School of Technology, which is in a junior college in East Texas. So thank you, team, but here's the product we've got today. I've got to tell you, it's an exciting product, Super Snake. Couldn't build a great car unless we started with a great car. Ford Motor Company gives us this wonderful GT500. Up to this point, it's 550 horsepower. We take it to 750 or a mere 800. Fact is, the Super Snake is a rock star. Guys, we've got to make sure that we're building new customers into our brand. We've got to have new Shelby enthusiasts. 100 years from now, when there's somebody standing up on this stage, everybody can't be in their wheelchair, okay? We've got to have new blood into the Shelby brand. GTS is that car, and we said, this will do it. This will absolutely do it. So the first owner, first delivery of GTS was a woman, lives right here in Las Vegas, in her 50s, driving it every day. And I went, wait a minute, nah, that's not what we planned. Wait a minute, well, we're supposed to... Second owner, a kid, 35. All of a sudden, several owners take delivery of their GTS. 2 weeks ago, a couple came in from Oklahoma City in their late 60s, early 70s. And the guy looked at me, and he's in her late 60s, early 70s, and he said, I want to thank you for building that GTS. And I said, well, yeah, great. You know, you're welcome, you know. But why? Why are you thanking us? He said, a Shelby has been on my bucket list my entire life, and I would have never been able to afford one had you not built this GTS. Now, let me tell you what we've learned, you know, because sometimes we sit in product meetings, and we think we're the smartest guys on the planet about producing Shelbys. But the fact is, here's what we learned. The common thread between every new buyer of a GTS is one common thread, one clear, distinct common thread, and that is, it is their first Shelby. Mission accomplished, first Shelby. No matter what age you want to experience your first Shelby, the GTS has been that product. So we're very happy to have GTS out there. And don't forget the DNA of our company, Cobra. You know, when all the dust settles and they write the books, Cobra will always be the lead product. So we're here tonight because of 50 years of celebration, 50 years of high performance. And let me tell you how we're celebrating this. We're doing two things, really. One is we're going on a tour, you know, a road show. But a tour is only as good as what you back it up with. And you've seen the great Shelby product we have, but we had to do it. We sat in rooms a year ago and we said, it's our 50th anniversary. We're gonna take it to the street like the old Shelby Caravan of the 60s, but we gotta have product, and we gotta have new product, and product that's special, product that's collectible, product that people are gonna say, I gotta have at least one. A couple of our customers said, I want one of each. I love those customers, by the way. And, so we unveiled the little 50th anniversary Cobra. We unveiled them at Barrett-Jackson. 48 hours, they were gone. So we all looked at each other 2 weeks later in a product meeting and said, okay, now what do we do? Well, let me tell you what we did. 50th anniversary product. Many of you have read about it. Many of you have seen it. Unveiled at the Detroit Auto Show, Super Snake. 50 black and gold stripe, 50 white and gold stripe. GT350, 50 black and gold stripe, 50 white and gold stripe. And then, of course, GTS. Same configuration. So we unveiled these cars in Detroit. The first article that hit the press read, though Shelby American had the saddest adorned booth in the entire Detroit Auto Show, it said, nobody cared because the cars were the stars. Carol said several years ago, he said, you know, it's got to be about the cars. He said, I know they say, I want to see Carol Shelby, and they want me to sign this, and they want me to do that, and you know how he always opens it up? He goes, but God damn it, but God damn it, you know, I'm 89 years old. And, but the fact is, he said, John, it's got to start being more about the cars. Can't be about me, because there's a day when I'm not going to be here, and that's going to be a sad day, guys. But you know what? Ferrari didn't go away when Enzo died, and believe me, Shelby brand is alive and well. This brand is bigger than any one man. It's bigger than anybody standing on the stage. It's bigger than any one or two cars out there. You know, we're often measured by who we associate with. And if you look at this list right here, we're in good company. Thank you, Dimbesti Motorsports, Carroll Shelby Engine Company, title sponsor. We couldn't have done it without you. Ford Racing, Ford Motor Company. We could not put on the tour that we've got without that level of sponsorship. And we're thankful for it. So just when you thought, well, you know, that's a great 2012, where we're not done. When 800 horsepower just isn't enough, New York Auto Show. New York Auto Show. I hate to tease you guys. What we're unveiling in New York will be the biggest, baddest Shelby ever built. In my 12 years of being in this organization, I've not seen Carroll's hands on a car more than this car that we're unveiling. He came out every other week and went around the track. In fact, Carroll went around the track when Gil got the car perfectly tuned. Went around the track, spooled that thing up 150 miles an hour. Carroll jumps out, and he looked over, and I'm not gonna edit this one. He said, I've never felt so much power in my ass end in my whole life. I know, it's a horrible Shelby impersonation, but this car, trust me, this car, it's Carroll's passion. It's his labor of love. Because this car happened because when he jumped out of the 800 horsepower Super Snake, he looked at us and said, when am I going to have 1,000? But that's Carroll Shelby, and we expect nothing less. But guys, let me say, I'm going to reiterate this. You know, we can't begin to build great cars without starting with a great car. I mean, who here doesn't love the new 5.0? My God, what a great car. What a great car. Who doesn't love the GT500 built by Ford? Come on, what a great car. But we have our friends, our partners at Ford here tonight. I thank you guys for coming. Ken Zube, the Vice President, U.S. Sales and Marketing. Thank you, Ken. Herman Sallenbach. Herman is the Director of Product. Herman we work very closely with during the KR program. You know, Herman has had the pleasure of sitting with Carroll side by side on development. When they spool around the new GT500, Herman sticks Carroll in the right seat. But I want Herman to tell you in his own words. Herman?
Thanks, John. Good evening, everybody. It's really great to be here. Thanks, John, and thanks, Shelby team, for having us here. And congratulations to this really big anniversary. 50th anniversary for what Carroll always says, for my little car company. It's amazing, and I saw many startups there but lived far, far less. The Ford team and myself, we are really privileged to work with this team, with Carroll Shelby and with Shelby American together there to really make fantastic products. The history and the performance of Carroll and Shelby American is really nothing but absolutely extraordinary. Shelby American had created the Cobra to just beat the Corvette in the US. And what happened? They beat finally all the best in the world. Last spring, we were at our proving grounds in Arizona, and Carroll came out. Shelby got in the car and did high-speed drives. He drove fast. Then he wanted to go on the skid pad. Carroll Shelby, last year, with 88 years, he was driving on the skid pad for easy 15 minutes, 20 minutes, exercising that car really hard. He came back, he rolled down the window, and he had that huge, big smile in the face. And we all felt, I never saw a more happy Carroll Shelby. With that, thank you again. Thank you for that really wonderful cooperation over the years. On behalf of Ford, I wish Carroll could be here, and I hope we have him soon at an event like that back here with us. Thank you very much.
Herman Sallenbach, he's the Director of Advanced Product Creation. Does anybody know who Carroll Shelby's hero is? Raise your hand if you do, because I know. I had a chance to interview Carroll Shelby 10 years ago in his trailer at Barrett Jackson. And I said to him, I said, Carroll, I think all of us have a couple of heroes that we just admire for all the things that you guys have been hearing about. And I said, and you're one of my heroes. And he's looking at me with those big old eyes. And I said, who's your hero? He goes, my hero? My hero? And a big old tear rolled down his cheek. And he said, that would be my father. Wow. Still makes me tear up today. He says, my father never got to see me be a success. And I said, tell me about your father. He says, he was a letter carrier. And then he put his hand on my knee and shook his head, and I said, thank you very much. And I got up and went out. What a fabulous man. Big heart. Belongs to somebody else, but big heart. Anyway, all right, we got another talker here. Austin Craig. Austin's been around. He's watched it all happen. I'm not going to go through the whole bio, but he has been there, done that with Shelby, and in 1975, he founded the Shelby American Automobile Club. Today, he serves as the editor of the Team Shelby newsletter, the Shelby Enthusiast. Austin, will you come up here and give us a little talk here, guy?
Appreciate it, Alan. Thank you very much. And it's great to be here. And I grew up in a town, eastern Pennsylvania, not far from Philadelphia, that was the Corvette capital of the world, according to Corvette News. And I just didn't like them. I just thought, okay, if people like them, fine. But I just never liked Chevy guys. When I was in college, I went to the University of Oklahoma, and my big brother in fraternity says, hey, let's go to Sebring. And I knew that the Daytona Coupes, which I think are the epitome of functional beauty, were going to be racing. They had Cobras there. So we drove a Bug-Eye Sprite from Norman to Sebring. We walked in, and you could have a pass back then. You could get around pretty much where you wanted to go. And the neat thing was that I was as close, to Carroll, and I didn't know him, or Phil Remington, or Ken Miles, or Alan Grant, who I hadn't had the pleasure of meeting at that time yet either. And they were working on these cars, and these Cobras were in perfect shape, and the organization was absolutely outstanding. The neat thing about it was you walked up, and they didn't look at you like you had 7 eyes. They were like happy to see you. The magic of the 60s is very true here today, but it is a performance history and a heritage that nobody else has.
Austin Craig, thank you, brother. John, come back up. John Luft, everybody. Time for something big to happen.
All right. 2 last things. 2 very important things. First, we have Gary Davis and his production team have informed me this week that we have completed the very first anniversary car, and the owner is here tonight. The owner of a brand new, very first one. Where is Lester Quam? For all you guys are going, where's mine? Wait a minute, where's mine? Roger gets those calls, and if you have any question, call Roger, okay? He'll tell you. Don't call me. Lester, I am so proud to be able to give you the keys to the very first delivery of an anniversary Shelby GT500 Super Snake. Congratulations, Lester. Lester's car is going to be on display. We had it covered earlier, but you'll be able to see it. It's the first one built, and we're very, very proud, Lester. Thank you. Okay, fact is, Carroll said, guys, we need to develop and establish a Hall of Fame, a Shelby American Hall of Fame that honors people that contribute to the success of Shelby, past and present. And Carroll said, and I know absolutely, beyond a shadow of a doubt, who the single first recipient should be. He said, without this man, he said, we wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for the drive and passion of Henry Ford II, the Deuce. The success of Ford and Shelby, we would not enjoy today. He said, Carroll said, John, the very first recipient of the Lifetime Achievement Award, Shelby American Hall of Fame, must go to Henry Ford II, the Deuce. And I am proud to have Henry Ford III, his grandson, here to accept the award. Henry?
Well, first of all, thank you, and it's a great honor to be here, and it's a great honor to accept this award on behalf of my father, who couldn't be here, unfortunately, and on behalf of my grandfather. And I just want to tell a real quick story. A couple of years ago, I was out living in Los Angeles for the summer. I was selling cars at Gallup and Ford, and one day I get a phone call, and it's Carroll Shelby, and I at that point I had met him a few times, but I didn't really know him that well, and you know, to me, he's this icon as he is to a lot of people in this room, and so to get a call from him, it's a little bit nerve-wracking, and I didn't really know what to say, and he just asked me if I wanted to go to dinner with him, and I said, I said, of course I want to go to dinner with you, and but I had no idea how he got my number, and I sort of wanted to ask him, but if you get a call from Carroll Shelby, I don't think you say, where did you get my number from? So I hung up the phone, and I called my dad, and I said, I just got a call from Carroll Shelby. And he was like, oh, yeah, he called me yesterday. I gave him your number. And I was like, the next time Carroll Shelby asks for my phone number, can you give me a little heads up, please? And he said, yeah. And so anyway, I ended up, about 2 weeks later, I go to have dinner with Carroll and Cleo. And I'm driving to dinner. My hands are sweating. I'm nervous. I have no idea what I'm going to say. I don't want to look like an idiot, And so I get to dinner, and thankfully, when you go to dinner with Carroll Shelby, you don't really have to do any talking because he does all the talking, which is phenomenal because he's the funniest guy in the world, and you could listen to him tell stories for days and weeks and years and have the time of your life. So. We shake hands and sit down at the table, and I haven't really said anything, and he turns to me and he looks at me and he says, Henry, your grandpappy was a mean old son of a bitch. and I just started laughing because I didn't really know what else to say. And he said, after we lost Le Mans in 1965, he called me and a few other folks up to his office, and we got there, and he had this mean old look on his face, and he gave us these name tags, and on each name tag it said, Ford wins in Le Mans in 1966. This is a year previous in 1965. And he said, I've never seen anyone so mad in my entire life, and I couldn't wait to get out of that office as quickly as I possibly could. But my grandfather loved Carroll, and Carroll loved my grandfather, and it was a partnership that started 50 years ago, and I am so proud that partnership is still going strong. It's an honor for me to be here and to be a part of that partnership, and I just want to say that on behalf of my grandfather and father and everyone at Ford, and it's just an honor to be here, and thank you so much for this award, and thanks to everyone for coming.
Well, thank you very much. I think that's it. I think we're close to the end. I'm going to let Alan provide the big finish, but thank you very much. Alan, take it away.
Hey, listen, for me, you guys, this has been a huge pleasure. I hope you guys enjoyed it. All right, guys. I think really, ultimately, I'm supposed to do the wrap-up. So you know what? Tomorrow, pancakes and more racetrack. Thank you all for coming. Appreciate it.